We have some wild updates regarding the Toronto Raptors head coaching search as we had a Woj bomb come out today indicating the Raptors have interviewed JJ Reddick for their head coaching position. So we'll break that down, including an absolutely insane report coming from Michael Grange indicating that Dwane Casey, former Raptors head coach Dwane Casey, is somehow a wild card for this position as well. And I think that's extremely unlikely, but we'll still see what Michael Grange had to say regarding the situation. And we also have some rumors escalating regarding Pascal Siakam after he did not make an All-NBA team this season despite putting up some solid stats. His future, there's some rumors going on regarding that situation and his future contract extension. So we'll break it all down. Without further ado, let's jump into the first topic of discussion. First thing we're taking a look at is the Raptors interviewing JJ Reddick to be the team's next head coach. Now, this is a name that I wouldn't have had on my Raptors coaching potential candidate list bingo card, as it seems like Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, the Raptors front office, they're interviewing every single person that could potentially be in position for a head coaching position of the next 3 years, because we're hearing name after name, a giant list in terms of the odds boards coming out, but a name that's been added to this playing field right now and coming from Woj directly, and we'll talk about the reports and stuff, is JJ Reddick. Now, this isn't coming completely out of left field today, as Grange did report saying that the Toronto has looked into the possibility of JJ Reddick being head coach material. So Michael Grange used very vague language saying, hey, the Raptors probably checked in, tuned in, saw if, hey, maybe this guy could be in a position to be head coach, obviously be extremely young. There are some younger coaches like Joe Mazzulla across the league that have had some success, but JJ Reddick definitely has a strong basketball mind, but you got to see if they're head coaching material first before you end up giving them the reins to your organization. So that all made sense, checking it out, maybe see a future prospect as a coach or something like that. But no, we had as I said in the intro, we had a bomb drop this morning from Adrian Wojnarowski that they're not just checking in to see if he's head coaching caliber, but the 15-year NBA veteran and ESPN analyst JJ Reddick has been interviewed for the Toronto Raptors coaching job. Sources tell ESPN Reddick was a part of the first round of candidates to meet with the franchise's leadership. So JJ Reddick is currently in the list of guys that are being properly run through in terms of being a head coaching candidate. And this is obviously, it's really tough to gauge in terms of how good a coach will be if they don't have any previous experience that you can judge them off for, but we do have a very wide sample size of JJ Reddick's perspectives on basketball. He's probably the only basketball podcast I listen to at this point, them no dunks and stuff. All right, JJ Reddick is really insightful. He definitely knows the game. He's definitely well respected across the league from players, so it's a guy that would also, I'd imagine, value three-point shooting given his playing career as a three-point sniper. So, JJ Reddick, I'd be cool with it. Him coming in, taking a risk on a young guy from Masai Ujiri, as said, look at him as head coaching material, or if they see him as a guy that will garner the respect in that authority role rather than as a peer. If he can sort of command this group, get the team to buy in, I think he'd be an interesting fit. Obviously, player coaches, they can sometimes be hit or miss, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know who's going to end up being the coach, who's going to do the best job. It's really tough to tell at this point, but I don't know. JJ Reddick would be cool for the memes. And he's also been notorious. He was on that Philadelphia 76ers team the Toronto Raptors knocked out in the playoffs during the 2019 season. And he talks about how Kawhi traveled on that jump shot, so he's probably going to have to take back some comments he made regarding that historic moment, that historic shot, if he does end up getting the job for the Toronto Raptors. But let me know if you guys think, if you guys would like to see JJ Reddick become the coach. He's a media personality, so I'm sure there would be some great memes and quotes and audibles coming if he became the coaches of this team. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. But the next thing we're taking a look at is Dwane Casey, named as a wild card in the Raptors coaching race. And I don't want to dive into this too much because I just don't see a world where this actually happens. But I don't know. We've seen Masai Ujiri do crazier things, but Michael Grange in that article where he briefly talked about JJ Reddick also said this. There are some wild cards with former Raptors head coach Dwane Casey thought to have registered interest, and one source suggesting that Toronto has looked into the possibility of a sharpshooter there. So we talked about JJ Reddick and all that sort of stuff, but they've thought to have registered interest in old Dwane Casey. Now, after all the smack talk, and I respect the heck out of Dwane Casey, he did a phenomenal job with this Raptors team, struggled making adjustments in the playoffs, Mike Budenholzer-esque, right? very dogmatic about his game plans, didn't like to change it, then last minute he'd do something very abrupt that was never practiced and stuff. So there were legitimate criticisms with Dwane Casey, but no one can deny that he was a heck of a development coach. Took a team from the pits of mediocrity, which it seems like the Raptors could be potentially heading a path down that way, right? Took a team, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, got the most out of that group. I mean, we took a team with, obviously Lowry and DeMar were great, but with DeMar Carroll, Patrick Patterson that just couldn't throw a ball in the ocean if he was out there on a boat, right? He was not able to knock down any threes. I mean, Scola started in that series. DeMar Carroll, Luis Scola, and Bismack Biyombo was the starting centers during that playoff run after Jonas Valanciunas got injured, right? Casey helped get that team to the conference final. So all respect to Dwane Casey. But after all the smack talk he's given to this Raptors organization since he's left, you're talking about Detroit Pistons knowing what it takes to win championships. I guess Nick Nurse isn't here, but you love to throw shade at Nick Nurse. It's he was bitter after he was fired the first go around, so I don't imagine he's coming back. And it seems like he has a nice position in the Detroit Pistons front office right now, so I don't really see a world where Dwane Casey comes back to be the head coach of this team. But let me know if you guys would like to see Casey back, Coach Case. Round 2, run it back with old Coach Case, trade for DeMar. Be cool to see. Pound the rock. Love to see that rocket. But final thing we're discussing in this video is Pascal Siakam misses it out on All-NBA, and that the trade rumors are escalating. Now, we'll talk about the All-NBA stuff first, because the rumors, they are rumors. There's no official reports or anything coming out just yet. But basically, Pascal Siakam, he was not named to an All-NBA team, and behind Lauri Markkanen and Kevin Durant, he was third on the list of snubs. Getting more points, more votes than Kawhi Leonard. Cool to see, former Toronto Raptor. Just behind Kevin Durant. Got 1 All-NBA second-team vote, 3 All-NBA third-team votes. So, Pascal had a remarkable season this year in regards to numbers, but the Raptors struggled. He missed some games. There's no real chance of him making an All-NBA team. And Josh Lumberg put it pretty well, saying that he didn't make an All-NBA team. It's a tough one. His season was arguably better than either of his All-NBA seasons, but his efficiency was down, but carried a massive workload, took another step as a playmaker, mid-range scorer, and it wasn't enough to overcome his team's disappointing season, I guess. And I couldn't have put it better myself when I saw that Lumberg tweet. Pascal definitely took a step up as a player this season, but the team's success and the efficiency and all that, and his cooler end to the season, where he started out very hot, was good throughout the middle, and then the last month or so, the Raptors were trying to make a playoff push. He wasn't that great when the team could have used him to win a few extra games. He wasn't getting an All-NBA nod, so unfortunate stuff there for Pascal Siakam, but what this means for his extension talks, right? Since Pascal didn't make All-NBA, the Raptors can now offer him a 4-year extension worth about $192 million. So that's going to put him at about, $47-48 million per year rather than the 5-year, $290 million contract. So still a massive extension potentially on the way for Pascal if we decide to retain him and keep him around long term. But him not making All-NBA keeps us from even risking the possibility of paying him a 5-year, $290 million. My goodness gracious. 55, 56, 57 plus million dollars per year for Pascal Siakam. I love my guys. I don't even know if that gets in the 60s. I'm not doing any mental math here right now, but that would be a big contract for Pascal. And he hasn't, while he's proven he can be a solid number 1 option, in the league and all that, he's not a number 1 option that carries you to a deep playoff run. Right? He needs co-stars by him. He can be the 1A, 1B in a good playoff team, but if you're getting paid close to $60 million a year, you need to be able to single-handedly lead us to a chip, like something along those lines, win MVPs and all that. And he's not on that tier just yet. So, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with Pascal's future extension talks. And then we had this rumor come out that people have been bringing up, people have been talking about, basically, from NBA Trade Report, their Twitter account. They don't post, they're not like Real GM or what is it, NBA GM. They're not just aggregating a bunch of news and all that. They seem to post tweets selectively. There's not a lot of fake news, but obviously it's not Woj or any crazy. That's why I'm calling these rumors and all that. But basically, the Raptors will be open for trade discussions for power forward Pascal Siakam this offseason. We've heard rumblings about this over the course of the offseason since the Toronto Raptors have obviously been knocked out of the playoffs, knocked out of the play-in. I don't know if you want to call the play-in the playoffs, but I heard rumblings about this. I don't have actual sources, but people I talked to, they seem to have heard some things. So I don't know. Pascal Siakam potentially getting dealt. It could net the Raptors the biggest return, but obviously you're giving up our number one option, our number one player. Could open the reins for Scotty Barnes a little bit. Could replenish some of our lost draft capital. Could replenish our young star players. Rebuild the timeline. Let me know what you guys think about all these rumors. Pascal not making All-NBA. And the wild head coaching search, because I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. And I also want to end off this video saying I apologize for the echo. Some people have been bringing it up. I'm in the middle of a move. It's not happening as quick as I thought. The Wi-Fi situation's been a complete mess, but hoping to be down there in a new studio, new house, right, in a couple of days or a few days, maybe a week, maybe back and forth and stuff. So, still in this studio for now, still a little bit of an echo, trying to dim it as much as possible without the furniture, although sound waves are getting fed back into the mic. But appreciate you guys watching the vid this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, right? Lots of content coming this summer, so appreciate you guys as always. I'm signing out. Cheers.